Hey guys. Oh, I've got a sticker right over here. Well, that's because this shirt is brand new. And for those who haven't seen already, you can now buy MUSiPOLiTiX merch. So I wanted to excitedly show you. Mine just came. So we'll show it in a little bit. We'll wait for some people to get here. I'm also going to talk for a little bit about the new MUSiPOLiTiX Facebook group. And I'm going to give you a reminder about our episode on Tuesday. And then also, my wife and I went to do early voting today. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So let's start with the merch. We got a few people here now. Check this out. In the camera, it looks, I don't know what color it looks, but in real life, it looks like the same kind of burnt red as the MUSiPOLiTiX logo shows up on your screens. It's just, for some reason, in the camera, it looks kind of washed out. I think it's because there's so much sunlight in my living room. I don't know if there's a way to change the lighting in here and make it not look. You can see even my face looks kind of washed out. It's the problem of filming in a room that has a lot of natural light, even with the blinds closed. So there's this one. And then I got one in white with the black logo. We don't use the black logo as much because the red kind of pops. But there's that. And then I got one with our, I don't know if you call it the flyer, essentially. Like every week we put the time and date here and the guest here, and this is the template for our flyer. Me and Michael. Again, with all the bright sunlight in this room, it looks kind of washed out, but it's really not. Maybe if I get closer to the camera. That's the other downside using a webcam too. So these are available on Spreadshirt, and I posted the link in the description. It's like shop.spreadshirt.com/MUSiPOLiTiX. And you can get these in all colors, not just white and black. You can get a red shirt with a red logo if you want to, or a black shirt with a black logo. They have all the colors of the rainbow. You can get purple. You can get red. You can get like heather gray. They have all the colors. The sizes go up to 6X in men's. I haven't checked the women's, but I know they got big girls and small girls. You can get kids stuff. They even have onesies for babies. And then there's a lot of accessories too. You can get coffee mugs. You can get hats. You can get phone cases. There's a whole lot of stuff you can get, and including face masks. So hopefully we are all still concerned about the spread of COVID-19. And as most of us are aware, I hope, face masks are very effective in helping the spread of COVID-19, because if you talk or sneeze or cough, sometimes saliva comes out of your mouth. And if it gets on anything and anybody else touches it and rubs it in their eye, or if it gets in anyone else and they breathe it in, that's how you transmit disease. So all it takes is a piece of cloth. It's really hard to talk with in front of your mouth, and very little gets past it because it absorbs the saliva. So you do sneeze, now you have a sneezy face mask, and they are washable, but the experts say that the germs die off after 24 hours. So you can wash it and you can reuse it, and again, it should be safe to reuse again after 24 hours. So I have this beautiful, and I actually also got one with my logo on it, which was actually drawn by Sarah Miscavige, I don't know how to say her last name, who draws the logos for Soul Asylum. And so you can get, if anybody wants to get one with me on it, you can get those through my shop. Hopefully in the future we'll have something with Michael and myself similar to this, but we don't have that yet. But in the meantime, you can support the show and the brand with these. I'll show the shirts again. I'm thinking maybe tomorrow. My church is doing services outside in the parking lot all month, where people can drive in and stay in their cars. I'm thinking maybe tomorrow I'll wear this nice white tee and white mask. And like I said, you can get coffee cups. You can get all kinds of stuff. I'm probably going to wear this shirt for the show on Tuesday. I'll just remind you guys what the show on Tuesday is all about. It is an old friend and an artist that Michael produces, who is also a Native American or Indigenous advocate. And they're going to talk about some of the issues that Native people continue to face. And so that's going to be very interesting. And it's also going to be an interesting musical conversation, I would think, because like I said, Michael has produced a lot of his music, and I've played on it, and it's been a very interesting experience. He's got a very different perspective musically as well. So that's going to be a good episode. So before I move on, let me look at some of these comments and see. Honestly, so the way this works is we use Spreadshirt as our shop, and I did that because that's who I was using as my shop, and I did that because when I started my shop, a friend of mine had one with there, and he really liked them. And so what we do with Spreadshirt is we submit the designs. They have to approve the designs and make sure they're not trademarked or anything else like that, and make sure that they can legally print them. And then they print them, and we don't have anything else to do with it. All we do is submit the designs. So what products they have is up to them. The printing is up to them. The shipping is up to them. The payment and all of that is up to them. Literally, our only involvement is submitting the designs and setting up the little website. And so what products they offer is completely up to them, and they don't let us know ahead of time. Basically, if they decide to introduce a case for the new iPhone when it comes out, they won't tell us. It'll just appear in our shop, or we'll have the option to add it manually. But it has really nothing to do with us. You know, when I submitted the designs, I just selected everything that they had, you know, to sell, and then they do the rest. And like I said, I've been using them for my shop for years. I've had mostly good experiences with them, as you know, better experiences than I have had with Cafe Press and the other similar sites. And they're relatively affordable, I think. They don't charge as much as some of the other sites do for custom shirts, which is important to me, not just for, you know, fans and customers and however you want to look at it like that, but also because I personally wear my own stuff. You know, if you've seen me on the show, you've seen me wear my own shirts a lot, and I'll definitely be wearing the MUSiPOLiTiX stuff. And so when I need the stuff for me, I go to the website and buy it just like you would, you know, and I pay the same prices. And so I don't want to be paying $30 for a basic t-shirt. So it's all done through them. Let's see. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about voting, just because my wife and I went and did our early voting for Tuesday's primary today. And I didn't know this, but apparently even with the pandemic, you can still vote early up to today for the primary, at least, you know, at a public library. And they have every ballot at every library in your city. So at least this is in my state. Your state may be different. So I didn't have to go to the library near my precinct. I just went to the closest library, which was actually not the one nearest my precinct. And they were able to fill it out and submit. And then we were able to vote early, which we wanted to do, not knowing what Tuesday is going to be like. If it's going to be long lines and were people going to be wearing masks, and you know, making sure we can get back in time because we have the show Tuesday, and so on and so forth. So unless something changes, they'll be doing something similar to that for November. As we talked about on the show a couple different times. I think we talked about it. We went on a tangent during Dr. Chiricah's episode, and we talked about it with Sade. We're all very worried about voting in November and how that's going to be and how it's going to play out during a pandemic and all the things that they're trying to do to rig the election and to keep our votes from counting. And so I think that's great. Obviously, every state's different, so check your state and see what you're able to do. But we were very grateful that we were able to vote early without a lot of, we didn't have to go through any steps. And then what happens is the polling workers take your ballots from the library to the precinct on election day, and then they just feed them into the machine the same way that that you would do. So it seems like a pretty safe process, and we may look to do the same thing in November. I know, just speaking for my wife and I, we were not looking to vote through the mail just because it seems like he who shall not be named is doing everything to, destroy the post office between now and then, and also to invalidate those ballots. So we did not want that risk. We were planning on doing in-person voting. So the fact that we can do it ahead of time at a public library when maybe the crowds aren't so much was encouraging. All the poll workers were wearing masks and they were sanitizing everything. And everybody, there was only a small number of other people that were there, and everybody was 6 feet, and it was done very well. And it was very just kind of indicative of what this new normal is like, with everybody wearing masks, and you can't get too close to people, and you can't use the same pen. And, it's a strange and scary and weird world we're living in now. And I hope we come out of the pandemic soon. Yeah, so that's all I wanted to say, is that we had our early voting experience, and it worked. As far as we know, our votes will be counted, and we're going to try the same thing in the general. The primary here in Wisconsin, there was really only one race that mattered in our district, and it was it was a state Senate race. And so hopefully the candidate that, and I always check, me personally, this is just me personally, I'm not speaking for the show or Michael or anybody else. Whenever I don't know the details of an election, first of all, I check the people that are also in my same district that I trust. And then I also check the teachers union to see who they support, because, a lot of family members of mine, including my mom, are teachers who are members of the teachers union. And I generally see eye to eye with them. And also just generally the teachers union seems to support the same candidates that I would support anyways. So I always check there. And again, today there was only one race that had a bunch of options. It was a partisan primary, so we could only vote for Democrats. And it was a state Senate race. So that's it. Again, I'm planning on looking into that again in November, if we can do that. If we can vote early at a public library in November, then I think that's going to be a lot safer. And I would encourage you to see what options are available in your local voting district, just because I don't know, we have no idea what the polling places are going to look like come election day. Is it going to be a zoo? Is it going to be orderly? Is it going to be distance? Is it going to be safe? Will the coronavirus numbers be dropping, or will it still be just as dangerous to be out in public as it is right now? And this is again something we've talked about on the show a lot, and I know Michael has a lot of these same concerns. Him and I talk about this often, and it's really kind of, I don't want to say scary, but going into November, we don't know what to expect, and we know that he who shall not be named is going to do whatever he can to hold on to power, so and stay out of jail. So back to happier things. I'll just kind of circle back. Oh, did I talk about the Facebook group yet? So somebody gave me the idea to start a MUSiPOLiTiX Facebook group, and we can post all the content in there, and then people can continue to discuss it in there. Or, followers of the show can discuss topics that are not directly related to the show, but are the same kind of topics that we would normally discuss. It's just kind of a place where, because not everybody that watches the show is Facebook friends with both me and Michael, and both of our pages are full, so you can't always be. So not everybody gets to participate in all the discussions that are on our pages. And it's just a place to have those type of discussions. And also a place to invite your friends if you want to say, hey, this is something you should check out the show, check out these discussions. So the link is in the description. Join that group. We're just starting, so there's not much happening there. There have been a few posts basically saying, hey, this about the merch, and hey, I like this. But it'd be a great place to, if anybody wanted to start some discussions by posting stuff about voting, for example, because we just talked about that, or trying to think of some of the issues that we hit on the last episode, which was my birthday. We talked about that family in Colorado, and just, anything that seems appropriate that Michael or I would normally discuss. It's just another place to talk about it. And but it only works if everybody joins and everybody participates and everybody invites their friends. And while I'm on that note, make sure you've liked and followed the MUSiPOLiTiX Facebook page, and then make sure that when there's an event for the show that you RSVP either interested or going. I think I said this in one of the past promos. Facebook does penalize us if we send out invites and not enough people respond. Facebook's like, okay, nobody cares about these people, so then they limit what we can do. And as much as frustrating as it is to deal with Facebook, we want to make sure that we're able to use the platform to the best of our ability. So let's go back to the merch just one more time so you can see how beautiful it is. And there is the MUSiPOLiTiX flyer that has the greatest drummer on the planet and an okay guitarist. Here is the black logo. I'm wearing the red logo. Here's the mask with my logo, which again is available on my shop. I didn't feel right putting it on the MUSiPOLiTiX shop until we can have something with Michael as well. And here is, and again, you can get the red logo on the mask too. I actually thought I ordered that one, and looks like I didn't. And if there's anything else that you want to buy, like let's say you want a MUSiPOLiTiX shirt that has the flyer, but with Andre Simone from his episode, I can add that to the shop, and then you can buy that. So all you have to do is post what you want, and I can add it, and you can buy it. The only thing is, somebody had requested in one of the comments about wanting some of the Sarah art, and we can't use any of that yet until we know what Soul Asylum is going to use, because we can't put the same stuff on our merch that they might want to use. So since a lot of the Michael stuff is drawn with that in mind, we have to, wait and see, or if she makes something specific, or if we get another artist to make something specific for the show, then we could use that. But all the stuff that she's done with Michael has always been for them, so we don't want to blur that line too much. But anything else, any of our flyers or anything that you want that's specific to the show, or even if just like I could do, I think like a picture, as long as it's not art, I could do a picture of Michael. It's too bad we don't have a good picture of us on stage together, because that would be a great one to do. Yeah, I could get the Dave Perner show. I could put that up on a t-shirt. Yeah, I don't see any reason why that, because it's just yeah. I'll message me or message the MUSiPOLiTiX account, and I'll make that happen. I don't see any reason why we couldn't do that. Yeah, anything that's specific to the show we can do. Anything that's not specific to the show, we just have to make sure that we have the permission to use it. So again, my art I have permission to use because it's not being used by anyone else. But the stuff that is done, with Soul Asylum in mind, we just have to be real careful. We want to make sure that the show and the Soul Asylum management are happy. Well, Tiffany, you should get a t-shirt. And as I was saying, if there's anything that you want that's not currently available in the shop, just let me know and I'll make it happen. But this one is available, and you buy it for the same price that I do. It's up for sale and you get it the same way that I do. This one is available. This one, and like I said, I'll throw up a Dave Perner one. Well, maybe if anybody get any requests for anything else, Sade or Tiffany or Andre Simone, or so if you have a request, if any of you have been following us for long enough to remember the first MUSiPOLiTiX flyer that I made, I could throw that up too. That's just got a bunch of silly shots of me and Michael that I just put into a collage in Microsoft Paint. So yeah, the link is in the description of this video for the store. And again, I want to make it clear that this is just like when you go to the store and buy it, the internet store, like when you virtually go to the store, that's exactly the same thing that I'm doing that I did for this shirt. I go to my own store and buy it. So I'm actually about to do that later on tonight. I'm going to get some stuff for my wife. I'm going to get the mask with the red logo because apparently I forgot to order that last time. I don't know what else. I don't know what else I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna get some more stuff. So I go to the store and order it just like everybody else, and that's proven to be the best setup because they, like I said, there's not a huge markup, and the printing and whatnot has been pretty effective, I think. So we've covered everything. It's been a little bit of a longer promo than usual. So right now, I'm answering Brandy's question. Yes, sorry, Tiffany. I guess you missed the first part. We have masks. You can get them with the MUSiPOLiTiX logo, and you can get them with my logo. Those are in my shop, which is different. But yeah, you can get. You just say what you want, and we'll. If it's not up there, we'll throw it up for you. So. In answer to your question, Brandy, so right now, everything we do except for Facebook, so YouTube, Spotify, and then the shirt store, theoretically, if we get enough views, if we get enough clicks, if we get enough people to click on the advertisements, if we get enough shirt sales, theoretically, we'll make a commission off of all of that. But we don't have currently. We're not there yet. Our highest viewership is on Facebook, and Facebook doesn't pay. And so right now our Spotify listeners are not enough that we've made anything. Our YouTube watchers are not enough that we've made anything. And we'd have to sell quite a few shirts before we actually made anything. So these companies all give us an opportunity if we get big and successful enough to make something off of it, but at the level we're at now, it's not significant enough for them to even cut us a check. It reminds me, there's a time I played a gig for a benefit concert, and all the band members got a check for $3. And my dad was actually the one that organized the benefit, and that was all that was left after the expenses, and they paid for whatever and the donations to what we were the cause of your benefit. I'm like, Dad, just keep the money, just put it towards the benefit. Like, don't cut the musicians a check for $3. And my dad was like, no, I have to, I said I would do it. I said that everybody who participated would get this percentage, and I'm doing it. I'm like, Dad, it's not even worth it. It's $3. But anyhow, me and the other musicians got a check for $3. So that's kind of where we're at with all of these, with monetizing the show. If the show continues to grow, eventually, my first goal is just that we make enough to pay for the streaming software, because we don't use the free software. We use StreamYard, and they have a free version, but we use the most expensive version because we get a lot of use out of the features that they offer. So my first milestone for what we're able to do as far as monetizing the show would be to cover that expense. And that's not the only expense, but to cover that expense. But this is not something that Michael or I do to make money, although, sure, it would be great if it was another income stream, and maybe one day it will be. But we're doing this because it's important to us. It's Michael said on one of the episodes, his page is his protest. And so this is, what if none of this ever makes anything or turns any kind of profit, then we'll still sleep well at night and be glad we did it. But they do give us the opportunity. So in answer to your question, Brandy, I know that was a very long and convoluted answer. It helps us because every purchase, every share, every view, every click gets us closer to that point where monetizing the show could actually be worthwhile. But it doesn't directly. It's not like if you buy a shirt, then we right away make X dollars. Or if you click on the ad on YouTube, we right away make X dollars. It's not that clear cut. So again, the best way you can support us is to invite as many people to watch the show as possible, help us get our numbers up, invite as many people to like and follow the page, invite as many people to the Facebook group, buy the merch, wear the merch, just help us broaden our audience. Because the best way to support us and the best way the show can actually help Michael and I from a financial standpoint would be if we get successful enough that people are like, hey, we want to advertise on your show. Not just like the little YouTube ads that pop up, but like, hey, we want you to do just actually have this ad on your show or mention our product or something like that. And that actually, because I've got some friends that have some podcasts that are successful enough that they do that. And you can cover some expenses with that. So the best thing you can do to support us is to help us increase our brand. And then the other great thing about that is the more viewers we have and the more numbers we have and the more merch we have and the more people buy our merch, the better guests we can get. We've been lucky enough to get some really good guests so far, and we want to keep being able to do that. And then, we want to get to a point where we can one day ask anybody we want to come on the show on our platform is big enough that they want to do it. It would be a dream of mine to be able to talk to somebody like, let's say like the Obamas or something like that. And they're not going to care about us with our 10,000 views right now. But if we can get to 1 million, 10 million, et cetera, you get to a certain level, people start caring because they see that you have a platform and they're like, well, how can I benefit from this platform? So here's my unpaid product placement, by the way, for Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee. Dunkin' Donuts, the only iced coffee that I get, pretty much, unless I make my own. So I'll be honest and say that I don't fully understand Patreon. I need to do some more looking into it. I know a lot of bands use it. I know a lot of musicians use it. I know a lot of people that are invested in causes use it. I don't. I'm going to put the mask back on just for so the people that are just now tuning in can see that we have it. It's got to stretch to fit big head people. Put it that way. It fits me, but it's fresh out of the box, so I have to work it a little bit. But if it's worth it, let me work it. I'm not going to take that any further. So, yeah, I don't fully understand it. I know that it's a good way to raise money for causes, but right now, I think our focus is mainly on building an audience and building the brand. And so I don't want to get too sidetracked in finding ways to make money off it just yet. If we can continue to grow it, then it'll be easier to monetize. And since it's not something that we started for the express purpose of monetizing, my personal view, and again, I'm not speaking for the show or Michael, I just want to focus on increasing our platform and getting a bigger audience and getting better guests and continuing to be able to do the things that we've been doing. But if we can continue to grow, then we'll definitely want to look at more ways to monetize, because at a certain point, guests are gonna, want a fee for coming. And I check the live chat. I just I'm not gonna respond to things that aren't relevant to what I'm talking about on the air. Somebody commented, I don't check the live chat. I talked about Patreon. I talked about t-shirts. I see everything that's there, but if it's not relevant to what we're talking about on the air at the time, I'm not gonna get sidetracked to put it up there. Like here, for example, we're talking about Patreon. Anybody wants to message me and talk to me more about Patreon, I'm willing to learn. I'm new to all of this. Michael is also new to all of this. He's probably a little bit newer than I am. I'll show you again. I'm learning all of this as we do it. So, I'm open. I'm open to learning. But again, my focus is building the show in terms of building our audience and building the type of guests that we're able to get, and building our reach. And then the bigger those things are, I feel like the easier it will be to monetize once we're ready to take that step. But I'm always open. If anybody that's a fan of the show or friend of the show or supporter knows more about social media, knows more about marketing, knows more about any of this stuff than Michael or I do, reach out to me and teach me something. I'm always willing to learn. So I think we covered everything today. I talked about the merch. FYI to whoever just commented, I am not in Minneapolis. I am in Wisconsin right now, and we have some of the highest COVID numbers in the country. Wisconsin is not handling this part of the pandemic well, which is too bad, because we were one of the better states at first, and our governor has been making all the right calls, but Republicans have been pretty much trying to cancel. Like he had, when he shut down the state, they sued to reopen. And when he tried to do a mask mandate at first, they sued to stop him. So as a result, we have some of the highest numbers in the country. So it is not a great state to be in right now. I don't know that Minneapolis or Minnesota is much better. I will have to look at their numbers, though. Michael leaves the house even less than I do, so he's staying very safe. I think he's been out for band rehearsal and maybe one other thing since the pandemic started. So I know a lot of friends of the show, like myself, started out as fans of Michael, and he's taken good care of himself. If you're concerned about the Minnesota numbers for that reason, then that's, he's doing okay. But that doesn't mean that we don't care about how Minnesota's doing in general. The U.S. has got to do better. For those who watched Dr. Chiricah's episode, she taught us, she said if everybody got tested and the people that tested positive quarantined for 14 days, we could pretty much eliminate COVID. But people aren't willing to do that. And somebody else had said, maybe it was Dr. Nikki, that if everybody wore a mask when they were out in public, we could pretty much eliminate it. But people aren't willing to do simple things to help other people, and that's sad. But what's not sad is this amazing MUSiPOLiTiX merch. And the great thing about the merch is if you wear it, people can say, what's MUSiPOLiTiX? And you can say, well, it's this Facebook Live show where some of my favorite musicians talk about important issues. And they'll be like, oh, that's cool. I want to check that out. And then they come and watch our show and they learn things like, hey, dumbass, wear a mask, or whatever it is that they need to learn. So I just tried to relate our merch to keeping the COVID numbers down. Hopefully that works. I've been on here way longer than I was going to. This was going to be like a 10 to 15 minute promo, the way that I had previously done. And between the questions and all the different things I wanted to cover today. It's been much longer, but thank you to the people that hung out with me. Shahir, the time traveler, Justin, Diane, Ethan, Brandy, Tiffany. I'm not going to scroll all the way up to the beginning. Lewis. But thank you for the people that hung out with me this afternoon. Yeah, everywhere outside of the U.S., the numbers are down, and the U.S. has just been handling it terribly. And that's a big part to, he who shall not be named. Yeah, so that's the little promo for today. Again, the merch is available. Buy the merch. It helps the show. It indirectly helps Michael and myself. The bigger the show gets, the more likely it is that it directly helps Michael and myself. And again, the most important thing is that Michael and I want to do everything that we can to bring awareness to the things we think are important. So that's the most important way that we want to help. So there's that. There's the Facebook group. Join the MUSiPOLiTiX Facebook group and say something to show us that you're there. I'll start posting as much content in there as I can, and everybody else should post what they can, and we'll go from there. Like and follow the MUSiPOLiTiX Facebook page. Again, I talked about my wife and I voted early today, and it was a fairly good experience. So check your state to see if you can vote early in the general election. Voting is very important. It's not the only thing that we can do, but it's one thing we should definitely do. And then what was the last thing? Tuesday's episode, Gabriel Blu. It's going to be very interesting. This is somebody that Michael has known for years, and I've known for maybe a year. And he's a very interesting individual with a lot to say. And he's very involved in helping the Native or Indigenous community. And we definitely are interested to hear what he's going to say. So join us Tuesday. I'll probably do another brief live promo on Monday just because I always do one the day before, which, by the way, I want you guys to know, just because you don't see Michael in these, I started doing these because Michael bugged me to. He was like, why don't you do a video to promote it on Mondays? So that's my Michael impression. And so I don't want you to think that he's not as involved. He just likes to do more behind the scenes, and I don't mind coming on here and going live to do a little promo here and there. So I will see you guys Monday. I will see you before then if you're in the Facebook group and you're commenting and doing stuff in there. And then I will definitely see all of you on Tuesday for the live show. It's going to be a great episode. Every episode is a great episode. Please share the promotions, share the flyers, share the merch, share the page. Invite people to like the page. Invite people to like the group. When we go live, share the live video. Help us increase this show. We're trying our best to do really good things to help the world at large, and we need you to do it with us. So I'm trying to just get to 40 minutes. You guys know I'm OCD about like ending at an even number. So anything else I can say in a minute and a half? My unpaid promo for Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee. What else? Yeah, Michael's involved in all of the stuff. In fact, when you see somebody posting or commenting from the MUSiPOLiTiX page, sometimes it's me or sometimes it's Michael. We both have access to that page. Otherwise, if you see it from my name or his name, obviously you know who it is. But we both post from the MUSiPOLiTiX page, so you don't know who you're going to get. What else? If you're fans of Soul Asylum, and a lot of the fans of the show have come from Soul Asylum, there's a Soul Asylum group called Moving Back in Time or something like that. I'll shout them out since they've been very supportive of us. What else? Anything else worth mentioning? I'll just show the merch one more time for the last 30 seconds. MUSiPOLiTiX mask. Dan Spiffy Neuman mask drawn by Sarah. MUSiPOLiTiX flyer. Another shirt, and we're right at 40. Thanks for watching.